All right, shalom, shalom. It's the hopeful elect coming back again, you know what I'm saying, to help the calling in of our nation and the election sure, right? We want everybody, it's our heart's desires that everybody will be saved in Israel. Today, this video is going to be on should we flee, right? It's a big controversy and everybody's wondering, should we stay or should we flee? Right? Should we build houses in our captivity and eat of our gardens or should we be buying passports, right? So we're going to go through some precepts today, some scriptures to make it clean cut, right? And you're going to have to make that decision for yourself, right? Based off of these scriptures, right? Because it's not what we say. It's not what the next man say, but the next camp say, the next congregation say, right? It's about what these scriptures say, right? And then you got to study to show yourself approved. All right, so all praises. So we're going to start it out with Jeremiah 50, right? A commandment to flee. I'm going to section this thing out. I got it very organized today, right? It says, prepare your thoughts before the Lord. Prepare what you are to say before the Most High. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to prepare something to make it clean cut for the saints, right? So let's get Jeremiah 50:8, right? A commandment to flee, right? What does that say?
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50 and verse 8. Remove out of the midst of Babylon and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans.
Right. So right here we see that it says remove. These words are telling us an action, right? A lot of people want to say it's spiritual. It's talking about just come out of her spiritually, you know, stop doing the fornication, stop, you know what I'm saying, worshiping wicked holidays. Right here it's saying remove out of her, right? And it even talks about the land, right? The land. So it's talking about physical aspects, right? Keep reading.
And be as the he-goats before the flocks. For lo, you can keep verse 9, keep going.
Is something playing?
Is on the phone? Salakia. Let me get my phone on.
Huh? What account is it? It's the hopeful elect count.
So let me restart Jeremiah 50:8.
Salakia.
Remove out of the midst of Babylon and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans and be as the he-goats before the flocks.
Right? Be as the he-goats before the flock. If you go on Google, if you look at the attributes of a he-goat, right? He-goats are pretty much self-sustaining goats, right? They might be the goats that get out of a pasture, or they might be considered wild goats, right? A he-goat before the flock. He says for us to remove out of the land, that's physical, right? Remove out of the land and be as he-goats. What does that mean? That means we're going to be in the wilderness. Everybody knows we're going to be in the wilderness, but that's what he means when he says he-goats. You go on Google, you go to definitions of a he-goat, right? The attributes and the characteristics of a he-goat is that they can live in any type of environment. Right? They can live in the mountains where it's cold. They can live in the forest, right? They can live in hot areas. They can live in cold areas, and they can live by themselves. So he tells us to be he-goats before the flock, right? He's telling us to get ready for our flight. When we remove out of the midst, right? When we remove out of the land, physical, right? When we do those things, he's saying that we're gonna have to adapt to our environments. He's saying we're gonna have to be like he-goats before the flock. And like I was saying before, a lot of people be like, no, it's all spiritual. We're just supposed to come out of idolatry. We're supposed to come out of religion. We're supposed to come out of every fornication and lust. We're supposed to come out of her spiritually. And we are. But these scriptures is manifold. So that's what we're going over today. The spiritual and the physical, right? So right now we're going over the sect of the commandment to flee, right? He said, remove out of her, Jeremiah 50:8. So let's get Jeremiah 51:6.
This is Jeremiah 51:6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon.
Again, he's telling us to what? Flee out of the midst of Babylon. So it's a reoccurring word, right? What does the word flee mean? It means to depart. It means to forsake. It means to leave. When he told Lot and them to flee, right? When they left, they left. It was physical. In the Maccabees, when he said, all who are zealous follow after me, and they left that land. So what makes us different from having to do the same thing that happened in the Bible? Right? These people actually packed up and left. When Babylon came the first time, guess what? Some of our people packed up and left it and fled to Egypt. Right? It says when you're persecuted in one city, flee into the next. Right? That applies till this day. When we're persecuted here in America and Babylon the Great, guess what? The Most High is telling us flee into the next. In this great city, great so-called city, right? Read that from the top.
Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul.
Deliver every man his soul. So this right here is spiritual, right? So y'all are right. Everybody's right. It is spiritual as well, right? It's physical and spiritual because you're delivering your soul, right? And really, your soul is your physical body. You know what I'm saying? You got a spirit, man. You got your soul. When you afflict your soul, when you fast, right? When you afflict your soul, guess what you're doing? You're starving your physical body, right? You're not eating. You're not drinking, right? That hurts your body. It says save your soul. Save yourself. Endure to the end. Those that are alive and remain will be saved. Right? Was that it on that one?
Nah.
Keep reading.
Be not cut off in her iniquity.
Be not cut off in her iniquity. So this is going right with Revelation 18. Be not cut off in her iniquity. Don't get caught. Remove out of the midst. Flee out of Babylon. Right? And so you're not partakers of her plagues and her sins. That's what he's telling us in Jeremiah. So Jeremiah and John saw the same thing. Right? Read.
For this is the time of the Lord's vengeance.
Right.
He will render unto her a recompense.
Right, because her sins have reached to the heaven. Right. I did a lesson before on the revelation that I got that there's a sin cup. And once that sin cup gets filled up to the top and start overflowing with sin, guess what? Vengeance has to come. Right. So her sin cup, the daughter of Babylon, is, as the wise proverb says, right, as the mother is, so is the daughter. That sin cup has reached to the heavens, right? It's overflowing. So that vengeance has to come down, right? He has to act upon it now. He let them delight in all their blessings long enough, right? The beauty of the Chaldees, the sorcery in this land, right? The wickedness in this land, right? All the unrighteous judgment, right? All of that stuff has to come to an end now, right? Let's get Isaiah 13.
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 13.
Right.
Therefore I will shake the heavens.
This is that sin cup reaching to the heavens. Right. Read.
And the earth shall remove out of her place.
Right.
In the wrath of the Lord of hosts and in the day of his fierce anger.
Right. The earth shall remove out of her place, meaning he's about to shake some things up. He's about to rearrange some things. Right. What's going on in the earth? Right. Keep reading.
And it shall be as the chased roe.
It shall be as the chased roe. What is a chased roe? A roe is venison. A roe is like a gazelle. It's like a deer, right? And why is it chased? Because they're oftentimes considered as prey, right? Because a doe, right? A venison, a deer, a gazelle, right? A lion chases that. A hunter chases that because 9 times out of 10, they want to eat it, right? It's kind of healthy. It's lean meat. It's wild caught, right? And they only eat what? Grass, berries, trees. They eat those things, right? They're not eating humans, right? So they're always being chased. They're the prey, right? So it's saying Babylon's going to be like the chased roe. That's what Isaiah is talking about. So Isaiah saw the same thing that John saw and saw the same thing that Jeremiah saw. They're all linked in, right? Because they all got the same source of information, which that's the Most High, right? So they're going to be like the chased roe, chased down, right? And the Most High is sitting in heaven right now. That's a deer stand, right? And he's aiming at Babylon the Great, the daughter, right? And they're like a chase road. They're running, but you can't run faster than a bullet. You can't run faster than the arrow of a mighty archer, right? Keep reading.
And as a sheep that no man taketh up.
Right, as a sheep that no man taketh up. So they lost, right? It's a sheep that gets lost out of the pack. Guess what? 9 times out of 10, it's so many sheep. You're not going to notice that one sheep is lost, right? And a sheep that no man taketh up. It could be a sheep that has a disease that's contagious. It could be a sheep that is too weak, too sick to be healthy. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times when you are into husbandry, right, and you're into farming, a lot of times you let the sheep do what they want to do, right? And a lot of times if the sheep don't make it, the sheep just don't make it. Right? Sheep are those type of animals that kind of take care of themselves when you have them in a pen, a sheepfold, right? So if they don't make it and no other sheep take it up, guess what? They just left out there to die. And that's what the Most High saying is happening to Babylon. All these countries that used to be around this sheep, nobody's taking this sheep up. Nobody's looking out for this sheep. This sheep is being left for the slaughter. It's being left to die. Keep reading.
They shall every man turn to his own people and flee everyone into his own land.
Then again, it's talking about their own land, fleeing, right? Whenever it says flee, it says land, right? So we can't ignore We can't have cognitive dissonance because we're scared of what might happen, right? Because when we see it, our forefathers did the same thing. They fled into the next city. They fled into the wilderness. They fled from Egypt. They fled from the Greeks. They fled from the Romans. They fled from Sodom and Gomorrah. When we see those things, we can't neglect that, right? He's saying what? To flee out into a different land. Land is physical, right? Save your soul. That's spiritual. So it's manifold. It's both ways. Was that, what verse was that?
That was 14. This is 15.
3:15.
Everyone that is found shall be thrust through.
Everybody that's found shall be thrust through. So if you want to be the one that's trying to say, hey, just pray for America, pray for Babylon, right? If you're going to be the one that's trying to save your 401k, if you're going to be the one trying to save your brand new house, your brand new apartment, your brand new car, right? You want to be that type of person to save your friends that's in the world, right? When you notice it's a shift in the spirit and everybody's being called at a certain time to leave and you don't want to leave without your family, right? He tells us, and I think in the book of Mark, that we got to be ready to hate our mother, our father, our wife, our husband, our children. We got to be ready to hate these people, right? So if you're going to be like Lot's wife, guess what? You're going to get thrust through. Everybody that's found here, it don't matter if you are the children of the Most High God. You're going to get thrust through for being disobedient, right? Read.
And Salakia, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword.
If you're joined with these people, oh, y'all saying that they can't be saved, so I'm not gonna be with you. I'm gonna be with them. Oh, but their women are so beautiful. I'm gonna marry them. Oh, but I love the Christmas. Their holiday spirit is amazing. It makes me feel so good. You want to do that? Guess what? You're gonna be thrust through. What does thrust through mean? Thrust through means if you watch the movie 300, they had a lot of sword play, right? And they had a lot of slow motion. They had a lot of gory scenes. But thrust through means what? You take the sword and you thrust it through somebody. You might see the blood kind of in slow motion splat off the sword and you take it out, right? And you're dead. If you're joined with them, you're going to be thrust through. Just like Lot's wife. When Lot's wife looked back, right? She was joined with them. Spiritually, she loved Sodom and Gomorrah. Spiritually, there was something that she was missing out on. It might have been a dog, something as simple as a dog. You know what I'm saying? But there was something back there she didn't want to let go. So she got thrust through. She turned into a pillar of salt, right? Fun fact, she might have still been married to Lot. And because that, she was counted righteous because she's now an Israelite by marriage. You know what I'm saying? And God kept his word, and she knows she's salt of the earth, but she got turned into a pillar of salt when she looked back because she did not obey. It's better to obey than to sacrifice, right? Was that it on that one?
Yeah, that was it.
All right, let's get Jeremiah 51:8.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51 and verse 8. Babylon is suddenly falling.
Babylon again. So this is talking about Babylon. Once again, we went through 3 prophets already: Jeremiah, Isaiah, and John. They all saw the same thing. All talking about the same place, the same great city, right? The same vision. They all tapped into into the same plug, right? Keep reading.
Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed.
Suddenly fallen. What does suddenly mean? It means it happened out of nowhere. It means it happened when people weren't expecting it to happen, right? It fell, right? Just like those condominiums that fell in Miami. Nobody was expecting that to happen. They fell suddenly, right? Babylon is going to be like that on the news, falling suddenly, right? It's going to be like that. Salakia, keep reading.
Howl for her.
Howl for her. You know, when you hear a dog howl, something's going on. They're not just howling because they're feeling good. Howling, that's something serious taking place. Howl for her, right? It means cry for her, weep for her, feel her pain, right? Because wrath is coming down upon her, right? Read.
Take balm for her pain. If so, she may be Salaki. If so be she may be healed.
Right. So a lot of people is crying. How is this virus taking America by storm? We're supposed to be on top of everything. Joe's supposed to be on top of this by now. Trump is all Trump's fault, right? Howl for her. Pray. Everybody in the Christian church is coming together in corporate prayer, trying to pray away a virus, trying to pray a vaccine to come, right? Howl for her so she may be healed. Right? They saying, hey, look, all these nations are against us. Jesus, heal this land. God, heal this land. Keep reading.
We would have healed Babylon.
Wait, who was the we? Who was the we? The we is the 3 that bear record since the beginning. Right? The Father, the Son, and the Spirit. They're saying we would have healed her in the plans when they took counsel. We would have healed her, but we're not going to heal her. Right? Keep reading.
But she is not healed.
But she's not healed, right? You can pray for Sodom and Gomorrah all you want to. You can pray for Egypt all you want to. Them plagues still coming. That fire still coming. Sodom and Gomorrah is still left to be ashes and sulfur, right? And Egypt has never been what it was since we left. You can pray all you want for it to be healed. You can pray all you want for America the Great to go back to normal. There is no normal. There's only more new normals and the next new normal and the next new normal until there's no more normal, until there's no more Babylon, right? Read.
Forsake her and
forsake her. What does forsake means? Forsake means to leave, to forget about her. Like he told Lot, don't look back. Forsake her, flee, leave. This is physical action. Read.
And let us go everyone into his own country.
Once again, that's physical land. Everyone into his own country. But we have no country. You might say, what country do we go to? We're Israelites, right? And that's why he told us to be like he-goats before the flock, right? And when we went over the definition or the characteristics of a he-goat, right? A he-goat, it can be anywhere on its own and survive. It could be on a mountaintop. Type in a he-goat on Google, right? And go to images. You're going to see he-goats on a mountain. You're going to see he-goats in the jungle. You're going to see he-goats on plains and deserts, right? And they kind of just by themselves, right? But guess what? That's what he's saying that we got to be, because we ain't got no country to go to. He's telling everybody else to flee into their own country. So if you Chinese, right, he actually giving you some help. He's saying, hey, go back to China. You African, he's saying, go back to Africa. You from South America, guess what? He's saying, go back to Belize. Go back to all those countries. You from Canada, I really don't know. I think they're going to be destroyed with this place too, right? But read.
For her judgment reacheth unto heaven.
Right? Just like Revelation 18 says, her judgment reaches to the heavens, right? So don't be cut off in her iniquity. Flee. Read.
And is lifted up even to the skies.
It's lifted up to the skies, right? What's the skies? The heavens, right? The most high seas, right? Even though judgment was not executed speedily, like it tells us, right? Her judgment still comes, and it's going to be worse. It's going to be in 1 hour, right? Famine, death, destruction in 1 hour, right? There was a bombing in where was it? Liberia, Lebanon. It was a bombing in Lebanon. We saw what could happen in 1 hour, right? So that's what he's telling us. In 1 hour, all this can change, right? It's reached to the heavens. Judgment wasn't executed speedily. They had a good run, a good 400 plus years. Guess what? It's time. It's time, right? Let's get Revelation 18:4, right?
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 18 and verse 4.
Read.
And I heard another voice from heaven,
Read.
Saying, come out of her, my people.
So this is John. Like we talked about, John, Isaiah, Jeremiah, they all saw the same vision. John, Isaiah, Jeremiah, they all said the same thing. They all spoke of the same event, right? He saw, right, in his vision, another angel with another voice, right? What did he hear? Let's read.
Come out of her, my people.
It said, come out of her, my people, right? And this is the verse that everybody go to that say it's spiritual. It's not physical, right? But they don't go to the other prophets to make their election sure, right? It says all those that are alive and remain shall be saved. He that endures to the end shall be saved, right? If you want to be caught up at the end, you gotta be there at the end, right? It says knowledge will be increased. The seals of the book is being opened. So we got to take heed to that. So you can't just stop at one scripture, right? Because this scripture can very well so mean spiritually, right? But there's other scriptures too. So most of the time, the scriptures are manifold. So read that from the top.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins.
Right. That's spiritual too. That's spiritual and physical, right? Sins are spiritual and physical. That's why he says, if any man even think about another man's wife, you already committed adultery in your heart. It's spiritual and physical, right? So he's saying, hey, look, come out of her. Don't be like Lot's wife. Don't join to her. Forsake her. She's not going to be healed. Keep reading.
That ye receive not her plagues.
That you don't receive any of her plagues. Because guess what? He says he gives mercy to the thousands of them that love him and keep his commandments, right? And he said that in Exodus after we came out of Egypt, right? What happened in Egypt? Why am I going here? Because Egypt had plagues, right? There was plagues in Egypt. And now guess what? I keep $1 in my wallet for this purpose. We are back in Egypt. Everybody knows that. That's the Egyptian eagle, the Egyptian pyramid. We back in Egypt. So guess what? He's going to send plagues on this place, right? So he's saying come out of her so you're not in her plagues, right? That's spiritual and physical, as we just read up, right, in Jeremiah and Isaiah. So just like in Egypt, right? And he says he gives mercy to the thousands of them that love him and keep his commandments. Guess what? We got to do the same thing. We got to love him and keep his commandments. Back then, they might not have had that much knowledge. They might have lost self a little bit, right? But they were still keeping the law, statutes, and commandments that Moses gave to them at the time. When Moses said, stay in your house, put the blood on your door, eat this lamb, right? Roast it with fire. Don't broil it. Guess what? They did that. They had to be obedient if they wanted to be saved, right? And God showed mercy on them. So look, even if you don't believe it's physical, keep the law, statutes, and commandments and have hope, have faith. And guess what? When that time comes, I'm led to believe everybody will be saved. Everybody will have mercy that keeps the law, statutes, and commandments. That is of the nation of Israel, right? Keep reading.
This is book of, you want me to go back to Revelation?
That was it on that?
Yes.
Go to Jeremiah 50 and 9.
This is
right?
the book of Jeremiah chapter 50.
So right here, we finna get some precepts real quick about the weapons of war against her, right? So that was just the commandment to flee. These are the weapons of war against her. Read.
This is Jeremiah 50 and 9. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon.
Right. So now he's finna tell you, hey, guess what? This is how I'm finna do it. This is how Babylon the Great, right? The daughter of Babylon, as the mother is, so is the daughter. This is how she's coming to an end. This is how she's going to be cut asunder, right? Read.
An assembly of great nations from the north country. An
assembly of great nations, right? So all we hear about is treaties. All we hear about is this nation's mad at this nation sold goods to this nation's in this nation's waters, this nation. And guess what? You got to stay in tune to current events. We didn't like current events when we was in high school and middle school and college. But you got to stay in tune to current events. Why is that? Because he's giving you history before it happens. He says a group of nations he's going to gather against her. So a lot of people like, how can Babylon the Great fall? We're better than every country, right? This is the home of the brave. This is the land of the free. We have the best military. We have the best technology, right? How can one stand against many? So he's saying he's gathering many to go against the one. And this one is going to be like the chase roe, that chase deer when it's being hunted. This one is going to be like the sheep that no man taketh up, right? This one is going to be like Sodom and Gomorrah, right? So he's telling her this one is going to be sick, ill, right? Famine is going to be attacking this one and she's not going to be healed. We would have healed her, but she's not healed. So forsake her, right? Read that from the top.
For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations.
Assembly of great nations. He didn't just say measly nations. He didn't say soft nations. He didn't say nations that are pushovers. He's saying he's going to get great nations, right? Nations with power, nations with military, nations with technology, nations that actually have influence in the world. He's going to get those nations, right? So how can America fall? How can America be defeated? He's going to get those nations, right? Read.
From the north country.
From the north country. So we all hear that there's no peace in the Middle East. We all hear that the Middle East does not like what's going on in America. They're burning our flags. They're telling us it's over. Nice time is over. We want ours, right? You keep killing our people. You keep coming over here. You keep rape, robbing, and murdering our people, stealing our gold, stealing our oil when y'all got well enough. Guess what? It's over for that. Time is up for that, right? So what he's saying is, guess what? They're all coming together, right? And they're going to confederate against this confederacy, right? And they're going to attack her as a chase roe. Keep reading.
And they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrow shall be as a mighty expert man.
Their arrow shall be like a mighty expert man, right? What does that mean? Like I said earlier, right? You can't send back the arrows of a mighty archer. Once a mighty archer pulls that arch back for that bow is going to be let go. And once that bow is let go, you can't send that arrow back. It's not a boomerang, right? So a mighty arrow from mighty expert men. What is that? Right? You got to be smart to come up with nuclear warfare. You got to be smart to come up with bombs. You got to be smart to know battle. What's the word? Battle. battle plans. I don't know the word is escaping me right now, but you got to be smart for that. So mighty expert men is in the science labs coming up with stuff, right? Heat-seeking missiles, right? Nuclear bombs, like it's going to be worse than Hiroshima, right? They're coming against her when she least expected. That's why he said 1 hour, right? We know he stands outside of time, right? But I'm led to believe it's actually going to be 1 hour. It might be less, right? Famine, the sword, destruction, fire, all that in 1 hour, right? Because mighty expert men, right? Read.
None shall return in vain.
None shall return in vain. Hey, look, them arrows is not going to return. Them arrows is coming for her. You can't stop them. You can't put a shield up. You can't put a firmament around them arrows that's coming to Babylon the Great, right? That was it on that one?
Yeah.
Let's go to Isaiah 13, right?
Isaiah 13:17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against
So
them.
who was he going to start this up with? The Medes, right? I always tell people all the time, what did we do to the Medes? First of all, who are the Medes? And when you show people who the Medes are, because you know a lot of times we read this Bible and you don't know what it's talking about because it's using ancient names, right? But Google, luckily, hey, look, knowledge has been increased. Luckily, we got Google. Guess what? You go to Google, type in Medes, and what's it going to say, right? It's going to say modern Iranian people. You got your phone on you?
Okay.
Open it real quick. I'll show you real quick. It's going to say modern Iranian people. Salakia. Medes, right? It's going to say member of an Iranian people, right? Mede. If y'all can see that. Member of an Iranian people, right? So when you scroll down, Medes were an ancient Iranian people who spoke the Median language, right? Inhabited the area known as Media, Western and Northern Iran, right? Western and Northern Iran. So now that we went to Google, right, to help us understand the Bible, right, because knowledge shall be increased, guess what? We know who the Medes are. The Medes is Iran. So a lot of times you tell people that, you like, so Iran's supposed to take out America? No. We just read that he's going to gather a group of great nations to come against this place, right? But he said he stirs up the Medes. So who's the one that's orchestrating this whole plan? Who's the real mighty expert man? It's the Iranians. And why is that? Right? Because America does a lot of sorcery and with the media and with events, right? That happens to make you forget things that happened in the past. Like we can try to go back in chronological order. You got the riots, you got racism with police brutality, right? Before that, you had Asian hate. All right. Then after that, you have COVID-19. Well, you got the vaccine, right? Before the vaccine, you had the election, right? Before the election, you had COVID-19. Before that, you had the China virus. Everybody was paying attention to China. Before that, you had Kobe Bryant dying. But what happened before all that? What happened before all of that? We just all forgot because all that sorcery is just coming at our eyes, coming at our ears, right? We're focused on our own lives, what affects us, right? All of us is taking a whole month to mourn the death of Kobe Bryant. All of us is trying to figure out, should we vote for this person or vote for that person, or should I not vote at all? All of us are trying to, should we take the vaccine or not take the vaccine? Is it safe? Is it not safe? What does the Most High God want me to do? Should I be an Israelite or should I stay in Christianity? Hey, look, too much sorcery is going on that's confusing the people in this land of confusion. Babel, right? Babylon is just babbling, right? To confuse you. But what happened before all that? I'll tell you what happened. America the Great stirred up the Medes. Right? Yeah. They stirred up the Medes. How they do that? They killed what was a prime minister, which is like a vice president to them. So they stirred up the Medes. So read that from the top.
Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them.
I will stir up the Iranian people against Babylon the Great, America, right? We're preaching doom out of the Bible. Read.
Which shall not regard silver, as for gold, they shall not delight in it.
They don't want it. They're not, hey, look. That their president told us straight up, we don't care about none of that. It's time for action. You can't plead us away. You can't bargain us away. We don't care about your gold. We don't care about your silver. Y'all done came over here. Y'all done stole from us. Y'all done caused beef between us, just like they did with the gangs here in America. They started that beef between the gangs, right? Between black communities. They did that. They made us kill ourselves. They made us drug ourselves up. You know what I'm saying? They did all that. Why? Why? Because they want to be in power. If other people's going through chaos, that means that they can be the mediators. They can be the ones looked upon. So what they do, they go over to other countries and they do the same thing, right? They say that they're going to take away Bin Laden and Hussein and all these people, and they want to help them out. No, man, they're going over there to steal from these people. They barging into people's houses, speaking English. Where is he at? Sit down. Knowing these people don't know what English is. Right? These people is trying to, you know what I'm saying, understand what's going on. They was just having a peaceful day, right? Somebody break down their door, right? Start raping their wives. Yeah, I said it. Our military people are some, not all of them, but our military people are wicked, right? And a lot of them are going to be punished for the innocent blood they shed. They kill random kids for no reason. They'll grow up to be terrorists, right? They go over there, they steal gold, carpets, wood, you know what I'm saying? Cedars, Lebanon, you know what I'm saying? They do all those things and expect not to get judged. So when they come over, they're not going to expect gold. They're not going to expect silver. You can't pay them off. They coming over to handle business, right? Read.
Fine. And just to elaborate real quick on that, it's like, you ever seen a movie called Double Take? I think it was Eddie Griffin and Orlando Jones who played Dr. Lee in Drumline. So in the movie, it was like a scene where Orlando in the movie, he was being sought to kill by this Mexican drug cartel, but they were trying to use him to help front their money because he was some big time banker and investor person, made millions of dollars. Well, they faked like somebody was going to come kill him. And it turns out it was called a double take. And what a double take is basically, we think that somebody's playing a hero for us, but when you look again, they're actually the enemy in disguise. Just like when he was saying about these people going over here and acting like they killing these big time threats to America. Nah, they going over there to kill these people so they can get what they want, right? Without no hassle. That's why I refer double take, because if you do a double take and actually see what's going on, yeah, we know they probably do some things that we don't like, but at the end of the day, we think America is the hero. Right? That's not necessarily so.
That's the movie that the guy that played in Snowfall, he played with Anthony Mackie. You know, on Netflix, that was about the same thing about how, and he was a robot.
I forgot.
Captain America. You talking about?
Captain America.
No, you talking about Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle. He's the robot. War Machine.
I'm talking
the dude that played as he was the main actor in Snowfall, right? Franklin. He was like a robot. And
Anderson wasn't the robot. Anthony Mackie was the robot. Yeah. And they basically said because the robot was working for America, but he betrayed America to team up with Russia. Right. And they met up with Russia, and Russia was saying America is the world's worst enemy, and we're trying to take America off the face of the earth. And they threw him for a loop.
Oh, okay. Because it all goes back to what? Propaganda, sorcery, right? What the news media leads you to believe. Right? It all goes back to propaganda. When we was in one of the world wars, everybody thought Germany was terrible. Right? We don't know why we think Germany is terrible. We just know they're terrible because they put it on our news. We don't fact check nothing. Right? But because our news station says that they're terrible, we're going to stick up with our country and believe that they're terrible. Right? We don't know what we do when we go overseas. Right? A lot of times you talk to these military people, man, they don't tell you the real thing. They give you a shallow answer. Right? You know what I'm saying? Even false propaganda with going to the moon. Confidential information. You talk to these astronauts, they don't give you all the information, man. They give you a shallow surface, right? So you could be happy and feel like you're in the greatest country of all, right? So next we're going to get the testimony of those that escape, right? Spiritually and physical. This is going to be a testimony in the land, right? Because just because America fall don't mean that earth stops. Just because Babylon the Great is no longer here don't mean that nobody else is going to be moving. Right? It doesn't mean that prophecy is still not going to be played out. A lot of our brothers and sisters have an idea that once America's gone, right, that's the end of the world. That's not the end of the world. It's still going to be other white people on the face of the earth, right? Because they like to say Esau is the end of the world, and that's the end of Esau's kingdom. No, there's still going to be other so-called white men in the earth when America falls. So that's not the end of the earth. But because we lived here and been conditioned and been drunk with wine, we think that this is the world. We can't imagine life without America. People outside of America can't imagine life without America, right? So I understand why you think that if America fall, this would be the end of earth, but it's not. Bible prophecy still has to be played out even when this great whore fall. Because the people that's coming against her to make her fall, they still gonna be here, right? Read.
This is Jeremiah 50 and 28.
The testimony. Right? Let's read.
The voice of them that flee.
The voice of them that flee. Right? That's a voice is something. That's something you can actually hear. A voice of them that flee. It's going to be a great tumult. It's going to be a great praise in the earth. It's going to be a great rejoicing when the hammer of the whole earth is cut asunder. Right? The voice of them that flee. Right? Read.
And escape out of the land of Babylon.
Out of the land of Babylon. The voice of them that flee and escape out of the land. So what does that mean? Right? Keep reading.
To declare Zion.
To declare the power, right? Declare Zion, the Most High God. Read.
To declare in Zion the vengeance of the Lord our God, the vengeance of his temple.
Right? The vengeance, to declare his vengeance. So guess what? What you know what that is? So Lucky, I get too excited. But you know what that is? That's all these videos that we're making. A video like today. Right? All the prophecies that other camps and congregations have been talking about the destruction of this place, condemning America for all its wickedness. Right? Number 35 and 33 talks about the blood that's shed therein can't be cleansed except for that blood being shed. Right? So this is how we know that this stuff is coming to pass. Right? The fleeing is going to lead to a testimony. Right? The voice of them that flee are going to be shouting for joy. When we're living as he-goats in the wilderness, sustaining as best as we can because he's going to take care of us and he loves us and he's going to show mercy to the thousands that keep his commandments, right? Like he did before in the first Egypt. Guess what? They're going to look at this noise and know that we're the children of Israel, right? They're going to look at these old prophecy videos and say, these people spoke this up. Their God is listening to them. The voice of them that flee and escape out of the land, right? Spiritually and physically. Right? That was it on that one?
Yeah.
Jeremiah 51 and 10.
Jeremiah 51 and 10. The Lord hath brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion.
What is our righteousness? He has brought forth our righteousness. He has reclaimed us. He has adopted us, right? Because it says in Romans 9 that we attain the adoption. That's what Paul said, right? So guess what? He's adopted us. He's declaring our righteousness again. He's accepting us back into the house. Read.
Come and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord our God.
Right, this is the testimony. So we're going to declare in Zion. We're going to declare when we get to go back to our land. Guess what? We prophesied this. We knew this was happening because the Bible tells us about it. It was open to us in the Bible, right? We knew it was coming, right? So so that's the testimony. That's the testimony of those that flee and escape. The voice of them that flee and escape out of the land. That's not my words. That's not my words. That's the words of the Most High. That's the words that's in this book. And a lot of us might get scared because I don't have a passport. A lot of us might get scared because I don't know if my dad or my granddad or my grandmother is going to make it. I don't know because I suffer from an ailment. I can't move that fast. Right? Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15, I believe, or chapter 19, believe, goes into the description of how we fled out of Egypt. And it talks about what? It talks about the little children, how none of them was hurt or harmed, right? And it talks about how our old men was leaping like gazelles and horses, right? He's going to put that adrenaline in us. He's going to put that mighty spirit in us, that spirit to quicken us, right? In the time of need, in the time of hurry. He's going to make sure we get out of here safe. So whether you believe it or not, if you keep them commandments, I believe I'm going to see you on the other side, brothers and sisters, right? Old and young, right? That's the testimony of them that flee, right? So when we flee, guess what? When we flee, it's still going to be some rebellious people among us. It's still going to be some people that, you know what I'm saying, don't want to let go of Sodom and Gomorrah. It's still going to be some people that still want to celebrate Christmas, still want to be in Greek fraternity, still want to be in gangs. It's going to be people that don't want to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, that want to eat what they want to eat, right? So we're going to talk about next is the purge, right? The purge. You got to be cleansed when you come out of this filthy place. So guess what? Just like each individual's getting cleansed, the nation got to get cleansed, right? So let's get Ezekiel 20 and 38, right? You there?
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 38. And I will purge out from among you the
This
rebels.
is the real purge. Y'all watch the purges, all those movies in the series. This is the real purge right here. Read that from the top.
And I will purge out from among you the rebels.
The rebels, right? The rebellious children, the people that want to rebel against the law, the sinners, right? The people that, you know what I'm saying, that made it out because they kept an Israelite in their back pocket, right? I'm gonna be friends with him just because I like what he preaching. I'm gonna be friends with him because it seems like he know what he talking about when it comes to politics, when it comes to the Bible. I like him because he seemed like he know about end time prophecy, right? I'm gonna keep him in my back pocket. I'm gonna keep that sister in my back pocket just in case we do have to leave, right? I'm gonna play nice with this person. Now I'm gonna act like they're not crazy. I'm gonna act like, yeah, everything that they're saying, you know what I'm saying? I might even come to one of the holy days with them. I might even say shalom or shalom, right? I'm gonna keep that person in my back pocket. But once I get out there in the wilderness, once I make it out of Babylon and I see that everything that they said came to pass, guess what? I'm gonna still rebel against the Most High God. So read that from the top.
And I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me.
Right? Transgress, step out of the law. 1 John 3 and 4. What is sin? Sin is the transgression of the law. You stepping outside the law. The rebellious. He's going to purge them. He's going to kill them. He's going to sever them from the nation of Israel. Keep reading.
I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn.
Right, so they come to us as they're living with us as he goats. Guess what? If we flee to Belize, he gonna purge them out there. If we flee to Ghana, he gonna purge them out there. If we flee to Ethiopia, if we flee to Egypt, if we flee to Canada, anywhere we flee, if they with us, right, as he goats, he gonna purge them. Right? Is that it on that one?
No.
All right, read.
And they shall not enter into the land of Israel, and ye shall know that I am the Lord.
They're not gonna make it. They're gonna be like Lot's wife. You wanna look back, you're gonna get thrust through. You wanna transgress, you're gonna get left behind. You're gonna be purged out, right? You wanna look back, you're gonna turn into a pillar of salt. You're not gonna enter into that land, right? Thus saith the Most High God. So Ezekiel seeing the same thing. That's 4 prophets so far. Ezekiel saw the same thing that Jeremiah saw. That saw the same thing that John saw. That saw the same thing that Isaiah saw. Right? So it must be true. The prophets, they ain't just speaking out their butt. It must be true. They're not just going to sleep and having a dream and being delusional. It must be true. Right? Let's get the next one.
Zechariah 13 and 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord.
All of the what?
All the Salakia, in all the land,
and all the spiritual clouds,
that in all the land,
and all the spiritual feelings,
in all the land,
and all the spiritual idolatry,
in all the land.
No, it says all the land. It keeps talking about land. So how can you just say it's only spiritual? How many times I gotta say it? All of our forefathers fled into different lands. The precept says when you're persecuted in one city, flee into the next. That is literal common sense. If you know destruction is coming and you got the warning, right? If the trumpet is being blown, leave. I'm not saying leave right now. The Spirit is going to prompt us, right? The Spirit is going to prompt us when to leave. You just got to have faith, right? Evidence of things not seen. You got to have that thing, right? Hoped for. You have to have that thing, right? Just like we could see that there was a great awakening in March or February when COVID came out. You could see that spiritually. You could feel it. You could see it. You're going to know when it's time to fulfill this prophecy. Just have faith, right? Hope, right? Be patient. Patience of the saints. All right, read.
And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die.
Like I said, it's going to be a purging. In all the land, right? 2 parts of us is going to be cut off and die. The people that don't want to listen, that don't think that they're Israelites, guess what? That judgment's still coming. And then the Israelites that's still into folly and transgression the law, guess what? They're getting purged too. The ones that want to look back. The one that built a nice little kingdom here. I know I'm an Israelite, but ain't nothing wrong with me having nice things, right? Ain't nothing wrong with you having nice things, but it tends to be those people, right, that get caught up, right, and feel like they can't let those things go. You know what I'm saying? It says gift destroyeth the heart. So you might get a good job. You might get be blessed with a great family. You might have some nice cars or a nice house. You might be gifted those things, right? You might be gifted a talent. You might know how to shoot that rock, throw that ball. You might know how to run fast, and you get praised for it. A gift destroyeth the heart, because guess what? Now you don't want to give it up. Now when it's time to give it up and forsake it, you didn't take it for what it was as a means to prosper in the land of your captivity. You thought it was building you up as a king. So now you don't want to leave that thing behind. Now you're looking back like lost white. Now you're part of the 2/3, right? Was that it on that one?
But the third shall be left therein.
The third shall be left in. Remember, he said he's calling us back to righteousness. He's calling our righteousness back, right? He's adopting us. He's going to leave some people in the land. But the 2/3 is getting taken out the land. So what is all this about a rapture, right? Why are we always talking about a rapture? Why is the Christian church always talking about a rapture, right? And to my brothers and sisters who are Israelites, what I'm about to say, you know what I'm saying, might kind of shake you up. But why are you always talking about getting beamed up? Right? We're going to live through some tribulation. Them seven trumpets got to blow. And then we'll get beamed up at the end. We'll be caught up at the end. I believe in the chariots. We'll be caught up at the end. All those who are alive and remain. We're going to see like a glass of fire, the world getting destroyed. We'll get caught up at the end. Right? But if you keep preaching that you're going to be saved out of Babylon by chariots, right? At that point, that's the rapture. That you're going to get beamed up then. You're not getting beamed up then. You get beamed up at the end. Right? All of our forefathers fled into a different land. All of our forefathers took heed to their religion, took heed to their heritage. They didn't want to give it up. Right? So we got to do the same thing. And all who are zealous of me, follow me. Right? Be he goats before the flock. Right? That was it on that one?
Yeah.
What was that? Zechariah? That was Isaiah?
Yeah, that was Zechariah 13:8. Now I'm at Isaiah 13.
Yeah, Isaiah 13:15.
This is Isaiah 13:15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through.
Everyone that should be found shall be thrust through.
And everyone that is joined unto them shall
Everybody
fall
that
by
is
the sword.
joined shall be cut off. You're going to be cut off. Right? That's the purge. If you want to be joined to this wicked place, you're going to be cut off. Right? All right, so next part, we're going to talk about the gathering of our people, because a lot of people are saying, how are we going to be gathered? How he says that he's going to gather his people from the four corners, but nobody does enough videos on how we're going to be gathered, right? So let's talk about it, right? How we're going to be gathered. Let's get Isaiah 65 through 11.
This is Isaiah chapter 60, verse 5.
Right? How we going to be gathered?
Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged. Because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee.
What are the forces of the Gentiles? Forces is their forces, right? If I lick my hand and go like that, that's a force, right? So what's the word? When you put two magnets together and one goes the other way?
Repels.
What repels us? What forces repel us from being at the top, right? Money that we don't have as a nation, right? Power and legislation, government, we don't have as a nation, right? Numbers, which we don't have as a nation, right? All those things repel us, right? So they're forces with the forces. They're going to bring us their armies. They're going to bring us their money. They're going to bring us their kings, their queens, right? They're going to do all those things. They're going to bring their forces to us so that we can be at the top. This is what it means by you have power to move mountains, right? We're in the valley of the dry bones, right? But we have the power to move mountains. What does that mean? You have the power to go from a lower state to a higher state. You have the power to push the people in power out the way so you could be at the top, right? Let's get it. Zechariah 8 and 23.
Want to keep? Just forget these other.
Oh no, you can keep reading. Keep reading. Slaki. We need to get to that. Yeah,
okay.
Keep reading.
The multitude of camels shall cover thee. The dromedaries of Midian. That's
the dromedaries.
Dromedaries, of Midian and Ephah. All they from Sheba shall come.
Right. So what does this mean? Ethiopia's gonna come help out. Right. Keep reading.
They shall bring gold and incense.
Right. They're going to bring us gold. Right. Everybody knows Ethiopia got a, you know what I'm saying? That whole land is kind of rich in minerals. They're going to bring to us forces, their money. Right. It's not just going to be the so-called white men. It's going to be all the Gentiles. All of them is going to notice When we have the voice of them that flee, the testimony of them, right, that prophesied the downfall of America, when they see that God is talking to us again as Israelites, guess what's going to happen? They're going to say, hey, look, the children of Israel are back on the scene. Their God is messing with them. We need to go and bless them, right? So this is a prophecy being played out, because if you know about King Solomon, right, the king after King David, if you know about King Solomon, right, Queen Sheba blessed him. She came over with riches and said, they have not told me the half of you, right? Surely God is working with you, because guess what? You're so knowledgeable. You're so understanding. So she gave him forces. So years later, her kids, and Solomon's kids, guess what? The same thing's being played out. They're giving us their forces, right? Read.
And they shall show forth the praises of the Lord.
Right, they're going to show forth the praises of the Lord. They're going to acknowledge that he's with us, and they're going to praise him too, because they're going to see what he did to this great city, Babylon, by the mouth of the prophets. Right, read.
All the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee. The rams of Nebaioth. Am I pronouncing that right? Nebaioth? Nebaioth. Salakia. All the rams, Salakia, the rams of Nebaioth shall minister unto thee. There shall come up with acceptance on mine altar, and I will glorify the house of my glory.
Right. So basically, they're going to give us their forces. You know what I'm saying? They're going to give us every land that has a specific item that if they're rich in cotton, they're bringing us the cotton. If they're rich in cattle, they're bringing us the cattle. They're rich in gold, they're bringing us the gold. That's basically what it's telling us here. All these other Gentiles, they're bringing us their forces. Whatever makes them strong as a country, that's what they're bringing to us. Right? Read.
Who are these that fly as a cloud, and as the doves, Salakia, and as the doves to their windows?
Right. We're going to mount up like eagles and soar. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be the ones in power. Who are these that are flying like doves from the valley to the top of the mountain? Who are these people that's on airplanes, got their passports, right? Fleeing Babylon the Great. So read that verse one more time.
Who are these that fly as a cloud?
Right. They see in the vision. They fly as a cloud. How else do you fly as a cloud? Helicopters, jets, planes, right? So I'm not saying don't get passports, because you know what I'm saying? Passports may be needed. But then again, I'm led to believe that the Most High God, if he wants us out of here, it don't matter if you got a passport or not. We're going to be led out of here with a mighty hand, with a strong hand like it was in Egypt. Right? Keep reading.
And as the doves to their windows.
The doves to their window. Why would it mention windows, right? Why would it mention windows if it's talking about doves? Right? What windows do you have in the sky? Right? Airplanes. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the brother Hezekiah. I was on his live stream and he brought that out as a revelation. I said, oh man, that right there was tough. You know what I'm saying? Literally get your passport. The Most High is saving us. Right? Keep reading.
Surely the isles shall wait for me.
Surely the isles. What is isles short for? It's short for like islands. A location. Right? Surely the isles shall wait for me. Why are islands waiting? Read.
And the ships of Tarshish first.
The ships of Tarshish. So the isles are the ships of Tarshish. So the ship of Tarshish, right, Tarshish is that whole Mediterranean Sea area. You know what I'm saying? That whole little gulf of boats in that port. So the isles, right, if you go back to Genesis, the isles of the Gentiles, right, it's going to talk about Tarshish, right? So this is talking about surely the Gentiles shall wait for me. When we're fleeing out of Babylon, out of the land physically, when it's time, when the Spirit prompts us, when it quickens our spirit, right? It says, surely the isles, surely the Gentiles will be waiting for us. They'll be waiting. It's prophecy. They're going to see that we promised this place was going to fall. They're going to see that we promised that we were the Israelites and that God is working with us. And they're going to wait for us. Surely the isles shall wait for me in the ships. So right now, guess what? We see planes. We see ships. Hey, it's going to be amazing. I won't even want to call it a diaspora, whatever. I don't want to. The great fleeing, the great escape, I'm going to call it, right? It's going to be a great escape when we're led out of here with a mighty hand on planes and ships. Verbatim. This is out of the mouth of the Most High God. I didn't say this. He said doves and windows. He said ships of Tarshish, right? Keep reading.
To bring thy sons from afar.
To bring thy sons from afar. How many sons was there? It was 12. 12 tribes scattered abroad. Right? Not just Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Not just the northern kingdom. Not just the southern kingdom. But all of us was scattered. So guess what? We all got to be gathered. Right? Keep reading.
Their silver and their gold with them.
Right. So ships of Tarshish, they bringing their silver and gold too. Because that whole little port area is rich too with minerals. Right? The forces got to come. And you think we're going to return them to them? We're going to be that nice of a people to no, we're going to take our reparations. Everybody talking about reparations right now. We're going to get real reparations, right? From everybody that ruled over us. Because only rightfully so. Keep reading.
Unto the name of the Lord thy God and to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee.
Come on. So, I'm gonna speed it up some. All right, I'm gonna get 3 more precepts, and we're gonna wrap it up. Right, the gathering of our people. Let's go to Jeremiah 23, verse 7.
Jeremiah 23 and 7.
Yeah, Jeremiah 23 and 7.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23 and verse 7. Salaki, this page still together.
You're fine.
Therefore, behold, the last days. So Salakia. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that they shall no more say, the Lord liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt.
Right. So guess what? Whatever's going to take place, it's going to be better. It's going to be greater. It's going to be more unbelievable. It's going to be more marvelous. It's going to be more terrible than what he did in the land of Egypt. We're going to forget about it. He said, well, no more. Read that from the top.
Therefore, behold, the days come.
The day is coming. Read.
Said the Lord, that they shall no more say.
We'll no longer say, remember what happened in Egypt. Remember when Moses said, let my people go. We'll no longer say that. Read.
The Lord liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the hand of Egypt.
Right. We're no longer going to.
The land of Egypt. Salakia.
The land of Egypt. Right. So he's talking about the land. We're no longer going to say, remember when he brought us out of the land of Egypt. He's going to talk about a different land this time. Right? He's going to talk about a different salvation this time. He's going to talk about a different deliverance. Right? Read.
But the Lord liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country.
Right? Out of the North America. Read.
And from all countries whither I had driven
them.
And
out of the Bantus. And out of everywhere that everybody claims that we are. Guess what? He driven us to the 4 corners of the earth. So guess what? He's saying they're going to forget what happened in Egypt, but we're going to remember how he gathered us from all these countries scattered abroad. Keep reading.
And they shall dwell in their own land.
We're going to dwell safely in our own land. He's going to walk us hand in hand into our own land. That's been promised to us because we're the children of the promise. Nobody else. Right? People are going to be in awe when that happens. Right? Let's get Ezekiel 11 and 17. Wait, did you read verse 8 on that?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Ezekiel 11 and 7.
Okay. You said Ezekiel 11 and 7?
Right.
All right. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 11. And we go on verse 7, right?
Come on.
Therefore, thus saith the Lord God. Salakia. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, your slain, whom ye have laid in the midst of it, they are the flesh, and this city is the cauldron. But I will bring you forth out of the midst of it. That's Ezekiel 11 and 7.
17, Salakia.
Okay, this is the book of Ezekiel.
Salakia.
Chapter 11 and verse 17. Therefore say, thus saith the Lord God, I will even gather you from the people and assemble you out of the countries where ye have been scattered, and I will give you the land of Israel.
Right, so here again, Ezekiel's seeing the same thing. Right? Everywhere we were scattered, he's going to give us our land Israel back. Right? He's going to give it to us. Everywhere we were scattered. So if you might have been on a little island in Puerto Rico, you might have been on a little island in Jamaica, you might have been in America, in California, or in Texas. Guess what? You keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, he's going to show mercy to the thousands of them that love him and keep his commandments. We got to have faith. Right? I'm not saying to get up out of here now. If you do get up out of here now, be smart about it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you're going to know when it's time to leave. He's going to bring us out with a mighty hand. All these things that was written aforetime. What is that? Romans 12 and
Romans 15 and 4.
Romans 15 and 4, right? All the things written aforetime was written for our learning, right? So when we read about Egypt, that stuff got to come to pass, right? It might happen a little different, but it's happening. He's going to take us out with a strong hand. And as we just read, we're no longer going to remember him as the God that brought us out of Egypt. We're going to remember him as the God that gathered us from the four corners of the earth and took us back to our land. It's going to be greater than what happened in Egypt. You know what? In Egypt, he split the Red Sea. He split the Red Sea. It's going to be greater than that, right? You got to have faith and hope and patience, right? And you have to keep your zeal up. You got to keep these laws.